To those Redditors who have visited the US from other countries, what was your favorite food experience here in America? New York was pretty great. I thought my trip would be really expensive, but those massive $1 slices of pizza would fill me up for hours. Also had great tacos, cheesecake, and an eggplant parm from a deli there. Breakfast in diners. I lived in the US for a couple of years and would go to this diner as much as I could because I loved eating breakfast food there. It didn't really matter if it was not breakfast time anymore. Biscuits and gravy. Sausage gravy is so good. To any non-Americans reading, it's basically a gravy made with a sausage fat roux and milk to make a cream gravy, and often has bits of sausage meat chucked back in after, instead of the meat dripping and stock method as per the UK. Both great in their own ways. It was back in 2015 and I was visiting Chicago. I'd been out for the day and went to the sports bar next to my hotel. After couple of pints of not your father's root beer, I was hungry and ordered a burger. And how would you like that cooked? Honestly, I was stunned for a few seconds because I'd never been asked that before. So I stammered, medium rare please. It was absolutely delicious. The best burger I've ever eaten. This sounds super trashy, but F me, I got hooked on corn dogs. We have amazing chefs here turning out excellent worldwide food these days, including pretty damn good barbecue, but for some reason corn dogs are just not around yet. Came to New York as a child. Hotel served donuts for breakfast. 8-year-old me lived like a king. I've lived in 6 countries now and can say that donuts are just one of those things America does best. I like the pizza. To be honest, I know Italy is very proud of its pizza, but New York really did take it to the next level. My husband and I took a trip to Orlando from the UK to do the parks, and we ended up going to Armored Wow. We nearly had as much fun looking at all the different food and the sheer size of some of the portions as we did going to the parks. Ended up spending far too much money on things to bring back with us, and we now have a very unhealthy addiction to Pop-Tarts. American here. I've been with my wife for 30 years and just found out she's never had a Pop-Tart. That changes tomorrow. Pizza in Brooklyn in 2014. It was insanely good and the waiter was super nice. I'm from France. Buffalo wings. Just loved that sauce. And the contrasting blue cheese dip. Also some Cajun breakfast in New Orleans. Game sausages and a Cajun tomato sauce with eggs and such like-o. Can't forget the gualadajara skillet in Chicago. All my workmates took the because I kept going back to the diner. All the cheap candy, sugary treats everywhere, and unlimited refills on soda. When I first came to USA, I ate nothing but French fries, pizza, ice cream, chocolates and cake for 8 months. Also, I realized it's so cheap to eat almonds/cashews every day. Back in my home country growing up, sweets were limited mostly to festivals and almonds/cashews were for special occasions or making sweets. I gained a lot of weight and had to struggle to get back to normal. But, boy, I can never thank enough USA for fulfilling my childhood dream of eating only cashew covered chocolate and a bottle of Coke for dinner. This is not a sarcastic post. Only someone who comes from third world would understand this. Yeah. Looking back, I would say it was not healthy to intake enormous amounts of fat and sugar, but I really loved it. On the contrary, in my last visit to US, I lost 15 kilos just cutting out sugar and moderating carb intake in 9 months. Sweet USA. My work visa expired and I had to go back. But these memories I will cherish forever. Good question. I lived in Texas during my master's degree and I remember one dish in special, jalapeno poppers wrapped in bacon and grilled during some random barbecue. One of the most delicious things I've ever had. Also, did anyone mention brisket in Tex-Mex cuisine in general? That's an experience. Cajun food is unbelievably good. And there are no better donuts than Krispy Kreme glazed donuts. Edit. I've just found out that I'm probably talking about Texas Twinkie, not exactly jalapeno poppers. I gotta say that these are the best Twinkies lol, cause the sweet ones are so underwhelming lol. Corn dogs. I miss those bad boys from my days in Florida. There are two things that still amaze me. Curly fries and peanut butter and chocolate mix. Like peanut butter M&Ms and Reese's Pieces. Oh. And I think pita chips are also pretty cool. I guess this counts more as my favorite foodstuffs than my favorite food experience though. In terms of experiences, I would say AYCE. I have memories of AYCE with friends. And the food was pretty good too. For me it was being able to eat all the food I had watched people eat on TV growing up. Twinkie, Hershey's, Twizzlers, Lucky Charms, Dunkin' Donuts etc. Basically junk food. This was before you could easily get those things in the UK and before internet shopping was a big thing. Yes, I'm that old. Even just having a burger from the Golden Arches was like I'm having an actual American Golden Arches meal. I don't even know if I enjoyed the taste of any of them especially. For me it was the experience rather than the taste. BBQ. Hands down. I'm Mexican and I went with the full idea of trying that juicy BBQ meat. It was glorious. Also, I love Taco Cabana. To me their tacos are the closest to authentic tacos you can get from a chain restaurant. Also, for second and third place, I have to say Carlo's Bakery cupcakes and, surprisingly, every hawker to water I had was delicious. I still have to experience the whole diner thing on a road trip. But we'll see about that one when things start going back to normal. Went to Atlanta for New Year's last year. This sounded horrific, but it was life changing. Fried chicken waffle. That's it. Fried chicken on top of a waffle. Bless the USA. I'm Canadian. Our food culture is pretty similar, but you guys have barbecue. It's not that it doesn't exist here, but it's nowhere nearly as popular. I hadn't even heard of pulled pork before I got to try it in the late 90s early 2000s. Barbecue to most Canadians is just grilling. The barbecue restaurants we do have tend to be fairly pricey. Southern food. Baby. Barbecue. Mac and cheese. Grits mmmmm. Cheese curds. I was in Wisconsin. Mexican food. Absolutely Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I've ate my first to a street food seller near a Benjamin Franklin's museum in Philadelphia, and since that day I've never eat again a Philly cheesesteak that had the same taste and ingredients of my first Philly sandwich. If someone here knows some Philly cheesesteaks recipe I'll be grateful if he could tell to me that. IHOP pancakes. Breakfast in America is something I cherish and really look forward to. Cracker Barrel. Grilled catfish with mac and cheese. Collard greens, cornbread and sweet tea. I'll start by admitting that I'm a simple girl with simple tastes. I like cheap, chain food. As someone who travels alone, it's nice and uncomplicated. And I love food. I'm not thin. American portion sizes were always insane. I liked Cheesecake Factory, but was overwhelmed by the size of the menu and the size of the portion. I had fabulous chowder in Massachusetts. And lobster rolls. I freaking love seafood, so I was in heaven. Chicago deep dish pizza. From Giardina's. I had a small. I gave it my best shot and managed 2 slices. But the most memorable was a place called La Torlaterin Street. Louis, as Brit tourists in a place that doesn't get a lot of travelers, we were treated like royalty. We had too much leftover food, we were eating it for days. I was in Florida in 2015. And they had an Asian restaurant in the hotel I stayed at. I don't know what they are called, but basically the chef cooks in front of you on some sort of a heated plate / grill. Party tricks included. The chef made us New York steak and egg fried rice. It was the best damn beef I ate in my life. Also, I didn't like rice anymore at that point, so I was reluctant to eat the one he made, but he convinced me and my mind was blown. Now I have egg fried rice at every Asian restaurant I go to. Anything cheddar cheese, Vermont white cheddar, mac and cheese, bolognese and cheese, Cheez-Its, probably worth 10 out of the 20 pounds I gained there, cheddar cheese on pizza, burgers, literally anything. I didn't even like cheese before I lived there for a year. Edit. Also Thai food is literal heaven, but that's not American. Just tried it there first. I'm from Canada. I was pissed when McDonald's gave me sweet tea until I tried it. Once I got back home I made it constantly. Breakfast in a small diner in Minnesota. Felt like being in a David Lynch movie. It had damn good coffee. Clam chowder and lobster bisque both served in a bread bowl at one of the many little places in Quincy Market in Boston. OMG, just gorgeous. It was so good we went back every day to eat there. Just so good. I love the bread bowl and wish they did it here in the UK, but then you can hardly ever find clam chowder here. Also double cooked potatoes with an incredible steak on a wet Monday night in New Orleans. Yum. Going to a steakhouse in New Jersey and they had IPA on tap and it was decent.